Having worked with a name, let's take it a step further and see where this can be really useful within a formula. I've set up an example where I'd like to count fruit. In particular, I'd like to count just the apples. Now the function I am using in this instance is called COUNTIF. The way the formula is developed, I'm to tell it the range, E2 to E10, and then the criteria. What am I looking for? Apples. At this point, if I double-click on the cell, it will now show me the exact range that I'm counting and will give me help on the formula automatically. In this case, it's verifying that the range is E2 to E10, and again, the apples is the criteria. Now we'll be going into much further detail on formulas a little later in the video, but for right now I just wanted to briefly introduce you to the COUNTIF. You'll notice that it's a bit cumbersome having to read E2 to E10. Names will simplify this greatly. Let's do an example. I'd like to do the count. Instead of using just the range, I'm going to highlight the entire column. I am now going to the name box in the corner, highlighting E1, and I'm going to type fruit on top. Remember, it's very important to hit enter, as that's what stores or saves the name. Now let's go over to the side and do a new formula. We always start with an operator, an equal, plus or minus. COUNTIF is the function, and we always have parentheses to define our criteria. In this case, first I need to put in the range. Instead of highlighting cells, I'm simply going to type in fruit. Notice that the whole column is now highlighted for me. Once again, I'll put in the comma and type in what I'm looking for, or in this case, apples. Finish with the formula and those parentheses, hit the enter key. You'll notice I have exactly the same component. Notice though, it's much easier to read the formula. Notice how it's fruit. If I go above, it was E2 to E10. In a long, complicated formula, that can work wonders without having all of those cell ranges in the formula. There's another big advantage. Let's say, for instance, that I go a little bit further in the column and I type in apples and hit enter. Notice how the named range changed to 7. However, my original formula did not. It was locked into a particular range as defined by me. When we used the name, it was the entire column. As a result, anywhere I go, whether it is in the original area or if it's a bit below, it will change. Working with these ranges really simplifies how we're reading our formulas. I use them consistently. Do a little work with them, practice, and you'll find they really simplify the complexities of the formula.